Yeah, thank you so much, and welcome to another episode where we feature stories of African professionals or Kenyan professionals who managed to pass through Germany for their career growth, for career development, and very happy to have one of them. Actually, why we decided to invite her to the platform is because one of our goals is to support the brain gain in as many various ways as possible. And Dr. Wanjiru is one of them. She came here for her study. She's a dentist and relocated back to Kenya. And she decided that she's willing to share her story with us so that at least we know, all right, we have people who are here who would like to relocate back home, would like to venture into different areas. So at least she can give us a few information. Thank you so much. Karibu sana to the AG Career Hub community.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, feel free to introduce yourself.
Thank you so much for having me. Like we'd talked before, anything I say maybe will help someone somewhere. Anything we talk about. I'm Dr. Wanjiru or Dr. Stuhler, Dr. Wanjiru Stuhler. I am a Kenyan-based orthodontist, and we can go into detail what an orthodontist is. Yes, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
So your journey started a couple of years back, and you were here. You did your Ausbildung. For the ones who do not know what Ausbildung is the apprenticeship program. And then you felt that was not enough. You enrolled for a degree program to study dentist. And then, is it called dentist or dentistry?
Dentistry.
And then you decided that is still not enough, and you were bold enough to say, I want to go back home with the knowledge. So take us back, like, how did you come to Germany and what did you do when you're here?
Okay, my journey starts around 20 years ago. Don't do the maths, guys. We are old. So I did my KCSE in the year 2000. Yeah. Then I came to Germany the year 2001. Mm-hmm. So my journey starts with, that year after high school, where you are still trying to figure it out. What do you want to do? What do you want to go? So I got the opportunity at that point, and I took the opportunity and I came with no German knowledge whatsoever, but we learned as we moved along. Come to think of it, if I was taken back 20 years ago, the things I did, the determination I had, if I was told to do the same things again now, I'd be like, it's never that serious. But, like the mind of a 19, 20-year-old is a different mind, but it's different, but it's fresh and you don't have baggage. So you're able to tackle a lot of things. So my journey started being in Germany with no German knowledge, and 10 months later, I started the apprenticeship.
Wow.
Yeah, it used to be called Zahnarzthelferin. These days it's called Zahnmedizinische Fachangestellte. I think that's what it's still called.
It's MFA. Yes, you're correct.
Yes,
MFA.
yes, yes. It's basically the nurse for the dentist. So my journey is atypical, but it's still it's a fulfilling journey. Like when I look back, I'm like, whoa, nimetoka mbali. We are from far.
Wow. And so before we come into this, so why did you think of venturing to this area? Is it something that you always wished to become a dentist, or that was the opportunity that came? And I know you went through a very extraordinary way, which is actually only for go-getters. Let me put it this way, because we're in an environment where you come here, you're told, no, this one does not work. These are the checklists. If you don't meet all these conditions, then you're out of the game. But you decided,
let's go for it. So being a doctor, I've actually always wanted to be a doctor. Which doctor is what I wasn't very sure about. However, I'm also very good with my hands. This I have from my mom. We are those ones who crochet sweaters and draw and paint, and anything that has to do with working with my hands, I'm in. So that's how I landed into dentistry, because a dentist is a doctor who has to be good with their hands. So when I came to Germany, I couldn't go directly to the university. I didn't meet the criteria. So I decided, okay, then let's start with the
Ausbildung.
Yes. So that is how I landed there. So I did that for 3 years. I had a very, very wonderful boss in Munich. I'll always be grateful for him. Like, he was very encouraging, because when I went for the interview, I actually had 3 interviews to go to. And I went to all of them confident, fresh from KCSE. And that's where I wanted, that's where I landed, because actually he told me, I'm going to take you into the room, you're going to assist me, and I'm going to dictate for you a few things, and you're going to write them down. And I'm like, okay. So he started dictating. So 18, 17, 16, and this in German, and I am 10 months, around 10 months in Germany, 14. Then at some point he said, 16 gold. Then I just come from KCSE, so gold, so that I write it fast, I wrote AU, right?
Oh,
you remember
wow.
the periodic sign?
Yes. Oh, wow.
Yes. So when he told me after the patient was gone, can I see what you wrote? And he saw there AU, he was like, you've got the job.
These are the discussions that I love. Really?
I've never interviewed someone who came for a job as a dental assistant and wrote to gold AU. Then I was just like, long live my chemistry teacher in Moigas. Yeah, he passed away. We were very sad, but that guy, he taught us chemistry.
Wow.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's how I started.
Wow. So before I know I'm still really insisting on this, because when I met you, and I was just like, wow, these are the stories people need to hear, so that at least they just chase their goals regardless of how the systems here are. Because I was telling a friend of mine, like back home where we grew up, there's always a way out, like if you don't manage to go to campus, there's always a way out. Either you start your own business, or you're employed by an auntie, or you go out of the country. But when you come here, you're like, there's so many defined systems. Like if you don't meet this, then you're really out. And it has happened to so many people, because of coming here, where you can't put a kibanda there. You need to, I don't know, to have 10 things to do this. You can't do this because you don't have good language skills. So this really shrinks us, and most people end up giving up so many of their dreams. So you came here with the visit visa.
Yes.
And then he said, I'm going to enroll myself. I'm going to apply for Ausbildung in Germany.
Yes.
Just mention that just to motivate out someone. Of course, this is an extraordinary way.
Yes. So, but anything, I don't think it would work now. Like almost 20 years later. So I went to Germany 2001, and we are now in 2023. It's over 20 years.
It's over 20 years, yes.
It's over 20 years. So how my journey was, maybe it wouldn't work as easy now, but it's still a journey, and it still has lessons that one can learn from them.
Yeah, yes, definitely.
And one of the lessons is KCSE counts. What you learn there really counts. When people start saying this balancing of these equations, where will they help me in future? You see, the AU helped me somewhere.
The AU helped you.
I used to do Nachhilfe, like tuition.
Helping her.
Yes, for fellow students in chemistry, like balancing equations. Like chemistry is really my thing.
It's your element.
Yes, so I used to charge people to teach them how to balance equations. So every step you take in your life, give it your all. You never know where it will help you again. And every person you meet, be good, be nice. You never know where you will meet again. You're not doing it so that they help you, and you're not learning because you will need it, but just be thorough. In whatever you do, be thorough, because it has consequences. Okay. Wow. So I did the Ausbildung, and the boss I had used to sign for me what do you call it? Remind me. Like a document. He signed for me a document, Bürgschaft. That he signs that he is, in quotes, responsible for me. With this document, I used to go to
apply for the visa
and apply for a visa. So I used to go every 6 months. He used to give me the whole day off yeah, without reducing it from my off days.
Mm.
And I used to go spend the whole day there, and get a visa.
Every
So
6 months.
yes, every 6 months, and I did the Ausbildung for 3 years. And then I remember after 2 years, I could have shortened the Ausbildung because I had Abitur. But then the way of applying was just too complicated. I was like, okay, I'm using this chance to know how it is to be a dentist and to also learn enough German so that at that point it was if, but I knew at the back of my head I was going to enroll to study dentistry either way, that my German is good enough. So I still did the full 3 years.
3 years. Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, and then you finish the Ausbildung, then you say this is not enough.
Yes,
I'm going to
shock. That was for me culture shock. You know, like in Kenya high school, sometimes even the respect you have for your teachers, and you know, and my colleagues doing Ausbildung, like it was for me a culture shock because as kids was still that era of you stand when the teacher comes
walks in.
In Germany, like when 20 years ago, the teacher comes in, no one is even interested they're there. Yeah, but me where I'm from, I was just like, culture shock. I'm like, these people are not serious. Some are having their earphones. I remember that feeling of culture shock. And then I remember telling myself, you have to work so hard so that you're good like the others. I remember the first cut we did, Schulaufgabe. I had a straight A in German. And then the teacher is like, using me as an example, every time, die Frau Stuhler, die kam vor ein paar Jahre aus Afrika und jetzt schreibt sie Deutsch besser als ihr und ihr spricht besser Deutsch. Okay, otherwise,
yeah.
I worked double as hard. Like I studied German. I had like Eselsbrücken. I had like ways of remembering which article to use on which word. But when the exam comes, I still used to pass so well, although my speaking was not as good as my writing. Yeah, so that's where the journey started, and I'm grateful for the people who opened doors for me. Like for my boss, where I did the Ausbildung, like awesome person. We need more of such people.
Wow, maybe he's watching the video.
Maybe.
Thank you.
I should get in touch with him.
Yes. Thank you for a shout out to those nice bosses out there who are there to really make a difference. Because I really appreciate, like, if you start a company or a training and you have that nice boss who is really to support you. That really pushes, you feel like you're even motivated. Someone is acknowledging your efforts, and it's really nice. So now you're finished, because look, I think this is one of the interesting parts in the discussion. We have people here in the community who did their Ausbildung, and then they're like, well, maybe I actually wanted to study, but when they think of hitting 5 more years or 3 more years, they're like, no, that's such a long time. What made you still chase this dream?
I wasn't looking at the years, because if I look at myself now with peers who finished dentistry, because it took me almost 4 years to start studying dentistry. Yeah. And those 4 years it took me to start, I just made the best out of it. I knew I wanted to get to the university, but because I didn't get, and I couldn't when I came to Germany, I chose to see these 4 years as an opportunity to learn other things. You know, I chose to use these years to learn the country, to learn people, to just, I didn't choose to see it as a waste of time in quotes, because at the end, I knew I wanted to be a doctor, and doing the Ausbildung was not going to make me a doctor. However, I still decided it is worth it. And later on, it still played a role, because I used to work Notdienst. In Germany, I don't know if it's still the same way. You, as a dentist, you get assigned Notdienst, like emergency hours. You can give them to another dentist. So I used to work for a dentist after the Ausbildung, as I was studying, who was taking up all the Notdienste of other doctors. And the thing is, his assistants were already working Monday to Friday, so they did not want to do Notdienst. So that's how I got that job, because I was working Saturdays and Sundays.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yes. Yes.
wow.
So I was working as a helper. And you see that the Ausbildung where I thought, here I'm just learning the language. At the end, it was very helpful because I could also earn a little bit more as when I'd be working a job where you're untrained.
Oh,
You
wow.
an untrained student job. So
Mm-hmm.
it was, again, KCSE helped. The Ausbildung helped me in my studium, in my studies, and I could earn enough by working just a few days a month to help me finance my studies.
Wow. So you did 5 years of Zahnmedizin.
Yes, five, almost 6 years actually. Almost 6 years of because the exam is half a year exams. Yeah, start exam is half a year.
Yeah, and that was not enough. You decided, let me go back home to a new environment where, of course, the level of technology is completely different. I'm not saying that we do not have the technology, but of course, it's a big transition. Like you're coming from a high-end country with all these machines, and and then you're like, let me go back and see how things are on the ground. What made you make the decision?
Kenya, we are very diverse. You can work. When we go back, after Ausbildung, I applied for Studium. Yeah, fingers crossed because dentistry is an NC. So everyone, there are more students who want to be dentists than there are spaces, right? And you landing where you've actually applied is always not a guarantee. So me as Münchnerin, I'm from Munich and I wanted to stick around in Munich. I applied in Munich and it was really fingers crossed. I hope I get the space.
Yeah.
So I don't remember. I think they said my years when I did it, I had to do Studienkolleg. So just Ausbildung and directly to the university, that was also not working. So after 3 years dentistry, 3 years Ausbildung, I still had to do 1 year of Studienkolleg.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And after the Ausbildung, now Studienkolleg was another story. So we had to do chemistry, German, biology, Latin,
and physics. M course, yes.
So everything was okay except the Latin and the maths, because maths they were training us with calculators. Abitua in Germany, you do maths with calculators. I am from Kenya where we are using logbooks, and then you give me a calculator, you tell me epsilon. I'm like, what? Maths was the first semester of Studienkolleg. Maths was a struggle, but being me, I worked so hard, and then I did 2 semesters of Studienkolleg. I also met very good friends there who we are still friends now.
Wow.
Yeah, some Kenyan colleagues, you know yourselves, because I know you listen. It was also a nice time. Then after that, now I applied for dentistry and I got a space in Munich.
Wow.
Yeah, one of the best days in my life, best things that ever happened to me. I was so happy. I was so happy. I was
read that letter.
Yes, not only because I got the space, but because I'd waited 4 years to get to that point. Like it was for me amazing. People were like, other people who got the space and they're just like, oh, I got space. I was like, for me, it was big. For me, it was really, really big. And yeah, 5.5, almost 6 years. Then in the middle of things, 2008, I applied for DAAD, Zahnmedizinische Akademische Dienst from it's an
exchange program or what?
Yes, it belongs to DAAD, Deutsche Akademische Austauschdienst. Yeah, they belong together, but the one I applied for is specifically for dentistry. I applied to come do volunteer work in Kenya. So to find out in Kenya, what do Kenyans need? What do I need to specialize in to work in Kenya and to be, to bring back my knowledge to Kenya.
Your expertise. So not just blindly rushing there thinking, oh, these Kenyans, they need my expertise. And then you
no.
I had you're shocked.
Yes. So I applied with a colleague of mine. who I met at the university. Yeah, very good friend. Yeah. And she's also actually coming to Kenya this year. We are doing an East Africa round trip, but that one we'll talk on the side. So we came to Kenya and we did around 2 months of Kikuyu Hospital. And that was also a wake-up call. Yeah.
And they pay they support you for this, or you have to support yourself?
So they gave us, I think, 300 euros per each of us. Obviously, that's not enough if you're here 2 months, but it was very helpful as students. So we had to prove proficiency in the language of the country we are going to. So I actually had to prove I can do Swahili or English. So I had to, yes, I had to go to a certified person who'd signed for me a document in Munich that I can do English or Kiswahili.
Wow.
So it was English, so that I get that the help. So we were plucking a lot of teeth. We were getting to know so many people at Kikuyu Hospital. Another culture shock for me. Now this is like almost 2008, almost 7 years later. So I am very Germanized, keeping time, and you've been told to use this plier for this tooth, then you're getting one plier on all teeth, then you're like, okay, I am a Kenyan.
So switching back now to the few, or using the few resources that were available.
Yes,
wow.
Yes. And I also got contacts from a few professors in Germany. There's a professor in Munich, a maxillofacial surgeon, who does a lot of cleft surgeries. So I just knocked on his door and I was like, hello, I am Mrs. Stuhler and I'm originally from Kenya and I'd like to go back to Kenya, and I heard you work with many Kenyan professors. Could you please give me a few contacts of people I can talk to? He actually did. And I came to Kenya and I knocked at their doors and they let me in. And some of them, even today, we do surgeries together. Like people who I came to ask, what should I study? I land in a theater room with them. Or some people. So these people, I asked them, so when I come to Kenya, what should I be? And everyone's answer was, be a specialist.
Pick an area you're good at.
Yes. So in dentistry these days we specialize. So there's the implantologist, there is the orthodontist, there is the maxillofacial surgeon, there is the oral surgeon, there is the periodontologist. So they told me specialize. And this was such good advice because we really need specialists in Kenya. Currently, orthodontists, we are 12.
In Kenya?
Yes, there are 12.
That's a Kifa Chirurgy, or what are they?
No, Kifa Orthopede.
Kifa Orthopede. Okay, what's the difference between Kifa Chirurgy and Kifa Orthopede?
So Kifa Chirurg is a maxillofacial surgeon. And Kifa Orthopede is orthodontist.
Okay.
We actually work together. So like this cleft, when we diagnose someone with a cleft, the orthodontist and the maxillofacial surgeon have to work together because I move the teeth and I move the jaws, and the surgeon moves now the jaws surgically, and I move the jaws with appliances. So these guys told me I need to be an orthodontist or a maxillofacial surgeon. I came back to Germany and started researching how to be an orthodontist or a maxillofacial surgeon. Then I was told for maxillofacial surgery, I have to go back and study medicine, the whole of medicine. So really? Maxillofacial surgeons have studied medicine and dentistry together. But there's a way they do it that at the end it's around 10 years and not like separate the way it would be 12. So there's a way those courses are combined.
You can combine.
To reduce the years a little bit. And you see, now I was already studying dentistry. So I should have said before I want to be a maxillofacial surgeon for the years to the semesters. So I was like, by the time I'm finishing dentistry, I am almost 30. No, let's stick to orthodontics. So that is how I landed at orthodontics.
Wow. And for this, you didn't have to do an extra
I did.
course,
I went after dentistry. I did 3 years of orthodontics. So I worked near Munich at a purely orthodontic office, like Kifa Orthopedische Zahnarzt.
Just to get the experience.
Yes, as I was doing, and I did my master's at that time. And also that time, so when I came to Germany, my thought at the back of my head was like, one day you'll go back home, right? So as I was studying, this thought was not very prominent in my head. And it's also good that way because it made it easier for me to study, like not thinking by the end of this, I want to go back. So when I did the formula tour, that's what we called it, the DAAD exchange program. After doing the formula tour, the appreciation I got from my fellow Kenyans, and with my name Wanjiru, and we were in Kikuyu County, people were speaking to me in Kikuyu, then negotiating the prices, and like I even had like an older lady who told me I should do the denture and she will bring me bananas and sweet potatoes. She actually did, and I actually did the denture. So heartwarming, such, you just think to yourself, it's not even always about the money. It's about the money. It's about the thankfulness. I'm not saying my patients in Munich were not thankful. By the way, I missed them. We cried the day I was leaving. Like my nurses, my patients were just like emotional. Oh, you're going. So, but there are so many orthodontists in Germany. Every kilometer you find another orthodontist. Here in Kenya, we are 12, 13 for, what is the population in Kenya now?
The whole hospital. Wow.
For 40 million people, there are 13 orthodontists registered by the board. So I am needed here more than I am needed in Germany. And that was also one of the reasons I decided to come back. Wow. Yeah.
Inspiring story. Wanzin. I wish we can just get 10% of your mindset. But nevertheless, that is why we are doing these stories, so that at least people can get to listen, get to interact, and get to see the real scenario of that these things are actually possible. It's a fantastic story. Of course, it's a lot of hard work, commitment, and not looking at the years. That's something I've taken from today's discussion. Don't always say, look at the years. Oh, I'm 50. Oh, by the time I finish, I'm 60. No, just start and hit the road.
Yes. And the one thing I usually say is, personally, everyone has to choose the decisions they make, and everyone has to decide what they want, but I have to deal with the consequences of my choices. And I don't like telling myself, what if I had, what if. And then at a certain point when I was in Germany, I started thinking to myself, what if I go back home? Then I thought to myself, if I stay here another 20 years, then I get to my 60s, I'll keep saying, I wish I'd tried. So as I was coming, there are no guarantees. I did not know this is going to work. I think we chatted a little bit a few years ago when I came back. We talked a little bit.
Yes, I remember.
I was not sure it was going to work, and I was also 1 foot Germany, 1 foot Kenya until I figure it out. But now when I look back at it, it was the best decision ever. I am very fulfilled in what I do. I love what I do, and I feel the fulfillment. And there are those who they don't need to feel the fulfillment, but I belong to those I need to feel the fulfillment. And I belong to those who say life is not a rehearsal. So every day I live it and I am happy. I wake up and I am happy. I am going to do my orthodontics. I start fitting the braces and I am in a trance. Like I am in my space. I am in my world. I am doing what I want to do. I coincidentally landed where I am with what I do. However, I usually just give myself space to change things. I plan things. But when they're not working, I give myself that space to be able to just change. Not everything I did till now was planned that way. But I let's say I'm fine, and I'm quite okay. I'm happy.
Wow. I remember I've been chasing you for a couple of years. When are you doing the interview? And then you told me, wait until I settle. And I'm so happy that you've settled, and that is such nice. So there are people who are watching this video and they're like, wow, you mean this is possible? So what is the process? Of course, you have to do all this recognition of the documents. Let's speak to, in this case now, people in this area of dental hygiene or whatever, dentistry. Where should they start? What's the procedure?
Okay, first, I think it was for me a very good idea to first come here and find out what Kenya needs. And now that you can skip, because I am telling you, I wish I had people like me when I was doing all this who would guide me on how to do things. So I was completely lost. So also in Kenya, there are people who open doors for me, and there are people who who helped me settle in, and there are also those who locked doors on my face. So you will always find these people. Just stick to the ones who are giving you the space. So when I came back, there's a criteria list on the board website. The board, the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentist Board. There are different pages of how to go about it. So I called actually direct to Kenya and I asked. Then they guided me to what I need to apply for. So I applied for a peer review. So a peer review, it is an examination done by other specialists, because I wanted to be a specialist in Kenya. So you can come with degrees full in your bag. However, the specialists have to make sure you know what you're talking about. You know, there are also so many dingy corner degrees all over the world. So they apart from your paperwork, they have to make sure that you are who you say you are. Yeah. And also when I went, they told me to take my paperwork to Commission for University Education. That is like yeah. Yeah. So I took my paperwork there. You have to pay. You have to pay everywhere. You're just paying, but that's the deal. And then all these papers also have to be translated by a recognized translator in Germany, and they have to be stamped by the embassy. So, and they charge per page, per paper. So just be ready to spend a lot of money. And at the Commission for University Education, also this, I'll never forget this question. The question was, did you do KCSE? Yes. What was your grade? Was it above C+? Yes. So from there, that's when now they start checking your papers. If you did not do KCSE, now you first have to prove that you can speak Swahili or English. So if you did KCSE, that is proof number one. You can do Swahili and you can do English. Wow. Then after that, if you did not have a C+, in Kenya, you can only study medicine if you had a C+. So if you did not have a C+, even if you studied which medicine, it is not recognized in Kenya. So I also found that very interesting, yeah? So I gave them all this paperwork. Then the next problem came. In Munich or in Germany, we do German state examination, Staatsexamen. In Kenya, they do bachelors. So the German one is a little bit higher, it's graded higher because you actually go longer to school. So when I gave them here in Kenya, and things were taking too long. So I went there personally and I'm like, what's going on? Then they're like, we want a clarification from Germany what this exactly means. So I'm like, what are you talking about? Then the boss there was like, Daktari, if we just write German state examination, then you are working somewhere in a very remote clinic. They will not know that this is a dentist. If you are BDS, Bachelor in Dental Science, then that's when they recognize you as a dentist. So the issue we are having is this terminology is not matching our Kenyan terminology. So please find a way of making them write in the translation that this is a bachelor's. So when I was getting the translation from Germany, in Germany, they're telling me, Dr. Stuhler, are you sure we would be degrading your degree if we write what the Kenyans want us to write? I'm like, people, I have to move on and I have to get my license. So what do we settle at? So at the end, we settled at German state examination, then in brackets, equivalent to Bachelor of Dental Sciences, which is actually not an equivalent, but at least now for the Kenyan
solution.
Yes. So that journey took around 6 months. And I went for the peer review. After that examination, which was like half an hour, I just thought to myself, oh my God, are you making the right decision? I was sweating. I was having a headache. I was having a stomachache. Like it was
tough. It was tough.
And when I was getting out of there, I actually didn't think that I'll go the next step. Because I was also in the stress of relocating, bringing container, bringing my stuff. I had a small baby. Like there was a lot happening in my life at that point. So I didn't think it was okay, that exam. And I actually hated those professors. And these days, they're my friends. Listen to this. They're like my mentors, and like they're people when I call and I tell them what they want and that they just listen. They are great people. But you see, at that exam, they want to know, who is this who wants to be among the 10 specialists? We
That
need
means
to
they,
know,
yeah, they need
because
to.
I will be getting cases which I need to be able to handle.
Wow.
So they actually commented during the exam, we are not bullying you, because if you want to be a specialist, we want to know you can handle being a specialist.
Wow.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
These are the stories we need to feed the media with, because this is also the mindset that they do not see us as specialists, and here you are, you have to do this tough exam just for them to put you in this category.
Yes,
wow.
Actually, when you're coming from Germany, they think when you come here, everyone will just be accepting you and giving you everything you want. No. Kenyans, we are a very educated society. Like we also have our bureaucracy, we also have our paperwork, we also have our protocols. Sometimes they get corners here and there, but the official protocols are there. And I went the official way from A to Z, and it took almost around 6 months. So I did some teaching at the university dental school. Yeah, because that was asked for me. I was supposed to do it. It was one of the criteria to get my specialist license. So first I got a dental license to work as a dentist, but I could do specialist work. Then after teaching the students, which was also very fulfilling. And at that point, I also realized, in Germany, we have resources for teaching.
Yeah.
So we were lacking resources here and there, but the interest, because those students who really wanted to know, they were like, yeah, what do they do in Munich? How do they measure these teeth like this? Like, there are those students who are like really fascinated, and they wanted to just milk the knowledge out of me, and I allowed them. I gave them all the knowledge I could give them.
Yeah.
And I did that for a whole year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, before we close the discussion, because the story is very interesting, I think we need to bring you again now. Wow. So what do you exactly do? You didn't even tell us during the introduction. What do you exactly do in Kenya? Of course, you said you specialize in this area. Where can we find you? Do you have a clinic?
Yes.
You work in a hospital?
Yes. So like I have been mentioning the whole time, I'm an orthodontist. This is a dentist, a specialist. So a dentist, an orthodontist is a dentist, but a dentist is not an orthodontist. Something to think about. So an orthodontist is a dentist who's specifically been trained to move jaws and to move teeth. So we are the ones who do expanders. We are the ones who do Invisalign. We are the ones who do braces. We are the ones who do removable appliances, plates, retainers. So those are the things we do. I am based in Nairobi, Westlands, Kenya Orthodontics, Muguga Green, second floor, Dr. Wanjiru Stuhler. I had already introduced myself. Yes, and I basically, that's what I do the whole day. Move teeth and move jaws, and I love it. Wow. And most of the time I work with preteens, teens. I can do braces on everybody, but those are the people we like really bond, Yeah.
Anyway, we'll drop the link so that at least people can find you and definitely get in touch, because I'm sure after this, people will definitely be willing to reach out. So which closing remarks do you have? I mean, there's so much that we can give back to the society, be it skills transfer, be it in investment. Most of the times you think of buying a plot back home, buying a plot, and then you buy 10, and then you buy 100, and then you're like, so now, I was telling someone, we like, Germany is a country where they push so much money in R&D, for example. You find there's a company, and this company has a Stiftung, and now they push the money in the Stiftung to be doing all these things just to add value into the community. So what is your challenge to us? And then I will carry that cross and pass it on to my brothers and sisters in the diaspora community.
Yes. So what I can say is the biggest investment in this life is knowledge, because no one can take it away from you. Even if I didn't have 5 papers, but I know how to do the braces, I just need to prove I can do the braces. So knowledge you have, nobody can take it away from you. And that's what you should be investing in. Even these young people, if you have the opportunity to learn a new language, do it. If you have the opportunity to do the Ausbildung, do it. If you have an opportunity to study, do it. And not all of us have to go to the university. Not all of us have to be doctors. But you can get a skill. And Germans are very good giving skills and teaching. Like punctuality and all these things I was drilled in Germany. Maybe it's part of my character also, but people really appreciate. I cope very well with the European community in Kenya. It's interesting. Like when I was in Germany, I was doing very well with the African community. Now I'm in Kenya, I am doing very well with the European community, which just shows me I am as much Kenyan as I am German. And I take the best out of each community. So the happiness the Kenyans have and the way we just love life, I pick that from the Kenyans, and the discipline and the punctuality and the, just being accountable and being transparent. Those things I've picked from the Germans. So that is what I can say. Knowledge.
Acquire the knowledge, acquire the skill.
Yes.
And be on the ground, do your research before making any decision.
Yes.
That is something that I will pass it on. And it's actually a fantastic approach.
Please,
wow.
Please.
Thank you so much. I think that is already enough information, and the story is very, very inspiring, even what you're doing back home. I'm hoping that we'll have bigger discussions where we can even see an exchange program, maybe bringing young students.
I go to schools a lot. I heard there's someone also you're connected to. Maybe we can talk later, another doctor, to just, I usually go to schools, not wherever, even children's homes, big schools, small schools, and I just teach the kids, brush your teeth, floss, drink water. And these 8-year-olds, what you teach them, you have children at around that age.
They remember.
They do not forget. They put pressure at home. The dentist said I brush my teeth. So I usually try a lot. As much as I am hustling other things back there with my braces.
You're extending your knowledge to the community.
Yes, and we are back to knowledge. So we can link up.
Super. Wow. Thank you so much, vielen Dank. I don't even know what to say. And looking forward to meeting in Nairobi over coffee, or when you happen to come over here. We're not far away from Munich. Please let me know, but definitely sit down.
I'm waiting for Oktoberfest. Actually, in those 18 years I was in Germany, I think I went to all Oktoberfest. So when COVID happened and there was no Oktoberfest, I was like, yeah, at least I'm not missing. But now I need to get back. Oktoberfest.
Sawa, then. All the very best and talk soon.
Thank you. Okay, asante.